Jonathan Kite is going to be at Comics Roadhouse at Mohegan Sun this weekend. 4 shows, Thursday, Friday, and 2 on Saturday. And he's here with us this morning. Good morning, Jonathan. How are you?
Good, buddy. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Now, do you remember us from a couple of years ago?
We did, I think you and I talked, but did we do video when I was at Wolfsboro?
Well, no. You came here to Westfield, Mass. to do a show for a YMCA fundraiser.
I remember that.
And I opened up the show for that particular show. But earlier in the day, we interviewed you on the morning show, and we had this other co-host that was with us, and I just want to apologize. He is no longer with us. But he asked you in the middle of the interview to do a station ID.
I remember that. I will tell you what happened was, I will tell you where I remember exactly where I was. I was in the car on the way to the airport. I remember, I know it exactly.
Yeah.
But I was like, say, I know your face, but I was going to say when we interviewed, it wasn't on video. I remember it was over the phone.
Yes, it was. It was this show that we were kind of put together. The name of the show is the Back Steve and Dave Show, which doesn't even sound like a morning show. It sounds more like a couple of guys trying to pick out tapestry from Marshall's. But it is, it was very uncomfortable for us, because we weren't. He tended to do things like that would surprise everybody, and I'm like, why are you asking this guy to do a station ID in the middle of the? Not even asking you ahead of time, not even asking you after the interview was over.
Right.
Smack dab in the middle of a live interview.
Well, that's right, and I remember thinking, I don't know, was there a script? I was like, because when you do those, I mean, obviously there's a very particular wording that you guys have that you're gonna get right. And I remember thinking, like, man, it is like 5:30 in the morning right now for me.
For you, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going, what? I mean, because I remember it was still dark out, and I remember exactly where I was in the car, because I remember thinking, like, did I miss something in the email? Was I doing this in this interview? And then I remember thinking, like, maybe. I'm like, man, it really is early for me.
Yeah, that threw I think all of us off that day. And again, I just want to back apologize for something that we really had no control over, but we didn't mean to do that to you.
Oh no, it's all good, man. I mean, I hope it worked for you. I hope the station identification was good.
He was the kind of guy who had all these fun facts about things. Apparently, he used to write trivia for Dixie Cups on the side. That was his big flex that he had.
Oh, wow.
And he would come out with all these fun, and he would say fun fact. And one of the songs that we were listening to the one day was Gimme Shelter by the Rolling Stones.
Sure.
And he comes out of the song and he said, fun fact, that woman screaming in the background with the backup vocals had a miscarriage shortly after that recording because she sang so hard. And my co-host and I were looking at each other like, did he just say that was a fun fact? Because I'm sure it's a fact. I just don't know how fun that was.
He couldn't get those on Dixie Cups.
Yeah, I don't think that would have been acceptable to read that on the side of a Dixie Cup.
I didn't know that Dixie Cups had fact. That was the original Snapple fact.
Yeah, that was. I think that was before Snapple came out with those. Yeah.
And he used to write those, and he would save up the good ones that they were like. What was his name?
Dave Coombs.
Like, we can't use this garbage.
We got to come up with something better.
Why does every one of your facts involve a miscarriage?
He was a unique individual. But either way, again, apologies to you. Welcome back to the area. You're coming back to Mohegan Sun this weekend, which is pretty exciting.
I'm excited, man. I'll be back. We had a good time. That was a fun show that we did for the YMCA. And then, I'm excited to be back. I actually just had a buddy who played Comics Roadhouse and said it was awesome. So I'm really looking forward to the shows.
Oh, who was your buddy? Because
Rudy Povich, he opens for Michael Yo, another friend of mine.
Oh, right.
And they just did it. And Rudy opens for me a lot. He won't be opening for me this weekend, but we just got back from doing Alaska together. And when I was there, literally getting the shows, my agent texted me and he said, "Have you heard of this place?" And I turned to Rudy and he goes, "I literally just played it." So It was great, and I'm obviously going to see our buddy Chad Erickson, who I love, and his wife Dawn. They're gonna come hang. So
Oh,
any excuse,
you're the guy who likes him.
I do. The one.
The one guy.
Uh,
The one guy. He's all right. He's acceptable. He's just, if you like him, that's your thing.
You know what it is for comedy for me? That's like a big plus to go somewhere where can hang with people,
Yeah.
and so, because then it's an easy excuse to go hang with friends for a minute.
Well, you're also going to have an opener that is local to here too, Brian Plum, who's going to be opening for your shows that weekend. He's a very funny guy. We've had him in here at the studio many times.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And so, what else you got cooking right now? I see you doing a lot of acting gigs as well.
I am, dude. That's pretty much what I've been doing. We had a premiere for a film, the LA premiere for a movie that I did last night, which is why, if this is on video, I sort of look like a Halloween mask version of myself.
This will just be audio by the time it gets to the radio. So,
God,
yes, don't worry
I'm not
about
wearing
it.
pants.
Neither am I, so don't worry about it.
So we had the premiere last night, and we're going to start a festival run with this film that I'm really proud of, that deals with sort of performers in puppetry, because we, there's all this back and forth sort of with Sesame Street right now, and where it's going to go. Is it public domain because of PBS and whatnot? And so it's a story about a puppeteer whose sort of life is falling apart, and sort of the puppets around him. And it's about some pretty serious subjects, but it's a very, very dark comedy. And we had the show last night, and other than that, I am working on. I just did voices on the new Ted animated series, which they're doing for Peacock. Seth MacFarlane, Mark Wahlberg, Amanda Seyfried. That's off the movie, so I think that's going to premiere. I think it's this year. I think maybe they'll show the first episode of Comic-Con or something. We don't have details yet. And then I just did an animated film that'll be in theaters with J.K. Simmons, who people will know for Academy Award winner from Whiplash, and Adam Devine, and so I have that movie coming out in a few months as well.
That's pretty cool. That you stick your toes into all these different projects that you got going on.
Yeah, man. I think it's, for me, that's the most interesting part, is being able to do everything. It sort of helps keep everything else, I think, fresh.
Yeah, and that helps with your stand-up, I'm sure, too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that's one of the reasons I got into stand-up, is because when I was on Two Broke Girls, we were saying somebody else's lines, which were great. I mean, the show was fantastic and brilliantly funny, and I really loved being a part of it. And then, but right before that, I had done a sketch show for Fox Network that was like The New and Living Color. And we had to write our own stuff, that's how you got on the air. And I realized that when I went to do the sitcom, that I missed that aspect. I still love doing the sitcom, but I thought, how can I express myself with my own words and thoughts, and and so that's probably the driving force that got me into stand-up. So to have that sort of balance,
Yeah. When you do, obviously you're an impressionist, when you do characters and people then see you in real life, are they like, hey, that guy doesn't talk like the guy who was on the show?
I'm on TikTok now, that I have not been before. When we talked before, I was not on TikTok. And the amount of people every single day that are discovering that I am not Ukrainian, it blows my mind. I mean, I try to respond to as many people as I can, but I'll do videos in my stand-up about not being Ukrainian, but I think, I guess for me, I'm like, this isn't a documentary, and so it was an acting job, which was great. But I guess because I did so many interviews at the time, but I guess those interviews don't last as long as the product itself, obviously. So that the show is still out there and people are still watching it.
Yeah,
and grateful, and so I think that that's the thing that stays with them, not the sort of supplemental material where they're seeing and hearing me as a different guy.
Yeah, I just I find it funny. There was I think it was my first discovery of somebody who was doing impressions was Bronson Pinchot. Remember Bronson from?
Of course, dude. I saw him on Broadway.
Balky from Perfect Strangers. When I was a kid, I used to love that show. I mean, I thought he was hilarious. And then to see an interview with him, and I'm like, he doesn't talk. I mean, of course, I was a kid, but I was like, he doesn't talk like that? Are you kidding me? So that must be a surprise to some folks when they see you in person.
Well, you know what it is? I think that it's a compliment because I think that that's what you're trying to do. At least I was. I can't speak for Bronson Pinchot, but that you're trying to. It's the same thing with my friend Matt Moy, who played Han Lee on the show. He doesn't talk like that either.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we want people. That's sort of what made the show, I think, as realistic as we possibly could get to. That is that these were believable characters, believable New Yorkers who were from other parts of the world. And I think that if you had thought that that's, wasn't how I talked, maybe the illusion, the magic trick would have sort of not failed necessarily, but it wouldn't have been as successful.
Did you have to kind of like utilize method acting in order to stay in that, in order to bring that back to the set?
It's funny because I had to do a joke about it the other day. And I had to go back and watch what I was doing to like get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're in it and you're sort of, I do this thing where I would sit a very specific way and I would stand a specific way and I would sort of hold my body, and that would really inform how I was talking. But I realized when I would do this joke that, maybe I'll do this weekend about the show, where I was realizing the voice was too high, and I had to like go back and almost do an impression of myself. And I thought,
that's interesting.
Just like, yeah, because excuse me, sometimes that'll happen where I do the other things I've done that I've been working on that are sort of in the same vein as I do Anthony Bourdain. And I've done a travel series that we're trying to turn into another travel series. I do it on TikTok and Instagram where I, dress up and do Anthony Bourdain, and I go to various places that he might have reviewed, where he's still with us, RIP, that, like Chuck E. Cheese or Costco or like, Hooters.
Places, yeah.
Yeah. And I will tell you, like, whenever if I'm like, am I doing the voice right? I have to like go back and listen to me doing it for Costco, which is the first video. It's pinned at the top of my Instagram page. But I go, that's the best, I think, for me, whether it's true or not, that really helps me hook into it. And so that's the only thing. Sometimes I have to go watch, because I'm like, I know I've done this before, and I've done almost 20 of these Anthony Bourdains. We've like flown all over the country for them. I just got back from doing Waffle House in Atlanta, and we did Buc-ee's in Texas, but then, and I also do a David Attenborough series called The Kingdom of Influencers, where I narrate the lives of these influencers in Los Angeles who are taking photos and doing this stuff. And, and sometimes with that, you want to do it right, but you get it. Sometimes you get it right and you go like, how did I do that? It's muscle memory, or it's like how your voice is feeling, So, but I didn't do that with Oleg because we lived in it so much. It was like a play. It was like theater. And so in retrospect, I go back and listen and I go, oh yeah, it was a little bit lower.
Did you, I hope you did a Cracker Barrel review.
Do that. Brother, not only did we do Cracker Barrel, the Comedy Gods, we did it the weekend that the controversy was happening.
Oh, jeez. So that's that's even better.
It was, my buddy Nick was, because I was sort of asked, the thing is, I thought that some of the brands would be bigger than others. Now, obviously, these are all staples of American culture, but you never know what's going to pop off depending on the time of year, or is there a reason that people are, looking at something. And a buddy of mine was like, you should do Cracker Barrel just because it really deals with a certain part of the country, and it's very themed. There's a lot there. And I grew up going and really enjoying the food and the atmosphere. And then got unbelievable. I called up my team because I have a great production team, and then I said, we have to do this Monday. We have to, because I go, are you looking at all these articles? I said, people are weighing in, politicians are weighing in on this for some stupid reason. And I go, it will never be hotter. And sure enough, we shot it on that Monday and released it on Wednesday. And now the trend was sort of over the next week, but we hit it exactly in the sweet spot.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, really.
That's awesome. Jonathan Kite is going to be at Comics Roadhouse at Mohegan Sun this weekend, Thursday, Friday, and 2 shows on Saturday. Jonathan, I appreciate the time you hanging out with me this morning.
Dude, thank you so much. Is there a station identification I can do before I leave?
Yeah, I was going to ask you. Could you do a live ID? This is Jonathan Kite, and you're listening to the Bax and Nagle Show.
This is Jonathan Kite, and you're listening to the Bax and Nagle Show.
There you go. You didn't even you remembered his voice so well from 3 years ago. So
I do remember that he had that kind of voice.
yes, he talked like this, and actually the second line you said in this interview when you said I got a buddy, he used to say I got a buddy, and he would always say I got a buddy who's into pregnant chicks, and it didn't take us long to figure out that it wasn't his buddy, it was him.
It was him,
yeah,
of course.
So that's our ongoing joke now is, I got a buddy.
Does he listen to this show?
I have no idea if he does or not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, shout out. What's up, dude? How are you?
All right. Well, now he's got his station ID. Nice and crisp and clean. Jonathan Kite, I appreciate the time this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Great to see you, and great to hear your voice again. And next time I come out, thank you so much, brother. Good to see you.
All right. Good to see you. Thanks so much. Jonathan Kite, Bax and Nagle, Rock 102.